Everyone, and welcome to our free speaking IELTS class of this week. It's nice to see all of you, and I'm also saying hello to all of you on Facebook that are watching right now. And I'm inviting you to also participate, okay, ask questions or make comments. I will also check and see if there's anything you want to ask me, or okay. One thing that I would like to start with is that this session will first be composed of me explaining a little bit how the speaking works, okay, and then having some practice with the students that we have here today. On some part 2, and if possible also on some part 3 questions, okay. So tell me, Anna and Elena, are you familiarized with the IELTS speaking?
Not very much.
Not very much.
Well, I think I am, since we do this in the regular classes too, so yeah.
Okay, so some yes, some no. Okay, which is why I will revise, okay, and explain a little bit how things are going when it comes to speaking. And then what I can do is, again, give you the chance to practice. So let me share my screen, please, as soon as I am allowed to. Okay, so how to prepare for the IELTS for the speaking, okay? First of all, a short structure of the test, okay? So there are 3 tasks, okay, on the speaking, and the total duration of the speaking will be around 11 to 14 minutes, right? Somewhere there. Because part 1 is just an introduction and very brief and simple interview, which will last between 4 and 5 minutes with very basic questions. Part 2 is an individual long term, which means for 3 to 5 minutes, well, actually 3 to 5 minutes is how it lasts, but for 1 to 2 minutes you are supposed to speak about a certain topic. And in part 3 is a two-way discussion, meaning that the evaluator asks you a question, you answer it in about 1 minute, then they ask you another question and you answer it, okay. So of course all of this want to see that you have the ability to express yourself, justify your opinions, to express a preference, to make some comparisons, right, to analyze. Okay, so it's quite complex what they want to check here, but as long as you speak fluently in English, you won't have a problem, okay. Right, how is this done? What's the procedure of the text? Well, there's one examiner that will start a recording, okay. They will record you. And of course, when they say recording starts, you need to also start answering their questions or saying your speech, etc. How is it marked? How is the speaking marked? Okay. Let me get the spotlight so you follow me better here. So the first criterion that they take into account in the speaking is fluency and coherence. Fluency is let's say how your natural flow is, yeah, if you have a lot of breaks, how well you're able to express yourself in English without taking a break, without sounding like you are looking a lot for your words, okay. And coherence, of course, the natural pauses are normal, yeah, but if you take a break that is way too long, then that will be considered not sufficient fluency. And of course, coherence is how you are able to link your ideas, basically, so that your point is understood by the examiner. The next criterion is lexical resource. Lexical means vocabulary, okay? So how good is your vocabulary? How well can you express can you express yourself in familiar and unfamiliar topics, okay? Do you use expressions? Do you use phrases? Then grammatical range and accuracy. Of course, this is grammar. Yeah, this is grammar. So making as few grammatical mistakes as possible. And even if you do make some, that your message is in the end understood. Okay, and the last criterion is pronunciation. Okay, unfortunately, even if we are non-native speakers, we are asked to be able to pronounce as well as possible, as closely as possible to the standard pronunciation. This also includes intonation, the fact that you modulate your voice when you ask a question or when you mention something about being surprised, okay, that this is expressed through your tone of voice, okay? And for each of these, you will get a score between 1 and 9. Okay, and then they will be converted into a final score between 1 and 9, as we know that the IELTS is from a band is rated on a band from 1 to 9. Yeah. Okay. Part 1, right? Part 1 of this of the speaking. Part 1, like I said, introduction and interview. It's really easy. First of all, the evaluator will ask you some general questions about home or studies. So all of the topics will be familiar ones, your interests, your country, your family, clothes, okay? They are quite easy, we can say here. And there are some predetermined questions, okay? There's no, you don't need to justify any point of view here, like, what is your home like? Tell me about your family. What type of transport do you use most? What's your favorite festival? Okay, do you have a pet? Right, how do we do it? How do we correctly do part 1? Well, of course, listen to the questions carefully. Don't jump to answer before you've actually listened to all of it. And give full answers, you know, if possible, but not too much. So in part 1, we shouldn't answer like in part 3 to the questions, right? 30 seconds, 1 minute, no. But, you know, if they ask you, for example, where you live, you can say, I live in the New Territories in a village just outside la la la, called like this. So, you know, you don't just say, I live in Romania or in the UK, but you also don't say all of this, for example. Okay, it's a lovely place. You give a lot of descriptions because then you might, you know, just already anticipate the evaluator's next question. Okay, so just somewhere in between. Okay, it's not okay to have 1 or 2 words questions. Even if they ask you this, for example, do you have a pet? It's not okay to just say, yes, I have a dog, and that's it. You can say, you know, yes, I have a dog. He is a large breed and his name is, okay, so at least this. Like I was saying, yeah. And how to prepare for part 1? Well, you just make a list of the possible topics. Like I said, your home, your job, your school, family, okay, food, transport. You write questions, or you just search on the internet for questions on each of the topics, yeah, and you test yourself responding to them. You record yourself responding to the questions, and you listen to see how you can improve, maybe. Okay, make sure even here you have all the vocabulary that you need, yeah, and think, of course, about the language that could help you. For example, some tenses, yeah, I've never been to Europe, the present perfect, or we can use linkers, connectors, yeah, unless, okay. Right, but as I was saying, this is the easiest part of the speaking, as some of you may already know. Okay, let's go to part 2. Okay, part 2, the individual long term. Well, you have to speak for 1-2 minutes is what they say, but from the experience that we have here in the academy, we recommend our students to speak for, you know, at least 1.5 minutes, so 1.5 minutes, because if your speech, so to speak, is too short, the evaluator may ask you some extra questions, and we don't really want that. like it said here, you might be asked, yeah, 1 or 2 short follow-up questions. You don't really want that because they are, unexpected. I mean, maybe you don't know what to answer. So if possible, just speak for 1.52 minutes so that the evaluator is sufficiently satisfied with your answer and they go with on with the next part. Here you are given 1 minute, okay, to prepare before you speak. You are given a card, okay, a cue card with the topic and some cues for you to follow, and also a piece of paper and a pen where you can make some notes. I suggest making notes with some expressions you might want to use, with some ideas you have, yeah, mention this, and then this, because they may help you if you get to a point where you don't know what to say anymore. You look at the notes and they guide you through the rest of the speech. Okay. If you speak for more than 2 minutes, you'll be stopped, but this doesn't mean that you'll be penalized for it. Okay, so that's not a problem. And let's look at an example of task 2. Yeah, describe a restaurant you enjoy eating in. You should say where this restaurant is, what kind of menu it has, what other feature it has, why you choose to eat there. And if you mention all of this and you still haven't spoken for 1.5 minutes at least, you can add some other details that are here. This is why this is called a cue card. It should only give you cues, like hints on what to say, but that doesn't mean you can't say something that is not here. For example, when you went there, or how often you go, or who you went with last time, or yeah. While it's still related to the big topic, you can perfectly add ideas of your own. Here, what is important, of course, is one of the most important things is to have fluency, because you need to speak, without unnatural hesitation. Okay, so far so good. We are okay. We understand everything so far. No? Yes, Anna, Elena?
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, good. How to do it? How to do part 2? Okay, read the topic card carefully. Don't just be superficial about it because you saw describe a book you like and la la la. Oh, I understood. No, read everything because it might actually help you to read those cues. And even not to make any mistake, because I've had students. I gave them the cue card and they spoke about something else. For example, they were supposed to speak about, I don't know, a trip they would like to make in the future. They spoke about a trip in the past. Okay, so pay attention to these details. Like I was saying, write a few ideas that you have. Okay, make sure that you answer, both parts. So both the description part, this is the description, and the explanation. At the end, there will always be this, and explain. Yeah. Then you can follow the order on the card because it's easier also. Yeah, and it may make your speech more organized. Make your talk as interesting as possible. Add some expressions if you can. Add some, try to be yourself. Ignore the fact that you are evaluated in that moment, and just be yourself and say what you would say on that, or tell your story, or yeah. Make sure use examples from your own life because it's much easier. But I can give you a tip here. If you have no idea on something, let's say, you can just, of course, either invent, but inventing might be more difficult. You may, stop at one point not knowing what to say, or you can just take another, maybe a friend's idea and make it your own. No, for example, to a friend, this happened to a friend. Yeah, and you say it like it happened to you. Okay, it will be almost the same. Nobody really cares if it's true or not. They just care about your fluency level. Okay. And just don't worry about the time again, because even if you are stopped before you finish, you will not be penalized for this. Okay. Make your sentences as complex as possible if you can. Add some connectors, you know, however, moreover, this is moreover. Actually, if you use things like moreover, furthermore, they may be considered too formal for speech. They are mostly for writing, okay? But normal connectors like however or also, or yeah, those are perfectly fine. Okay, how to prepare for part 2? Well, using, you know, some of the topics that you have, we can perfectly practice, just record ourselves, yeah, just talking on the topics. In the recording, you also see how much you talked for, yeah, 1-2 minutes. And you can use the checklist given here to assess your performance, okay? For example, did I cover all the points on the cue card? Yeah. Did I elaborate on them, which means did I give enough details? No. Did I use sufficient vocabulary? Yeah, varied vocabulary. Did I organize my ideas logically? Yeah, these are again for you to self-assess after you record yourself and you listen to the recording. Okay. Very good. Okay, so this would be the main point. Next, part 3 and the last part, thank God, no, of the speaking, is the two-way discussion, which lasts for 4 to 5 minutes. So you are asked questions, okay? But the questions here are on more abstract issues. You are no longer asked where you live. You are asked, you know, tell me what you think about, what is your opinion on, okay? For example, to relate the topic to a situation in your country, what happens in your country on a certain topic, to express your opinion, to give reasons, okay, for believing what you believe, right? So, and also the questions here will increase in difficulty. So the first question you are asked is the easiest, and the last one will be the most difficult, okay? How to do part 3 correctly? Remember that there's no right or wrong answer, so don't be afraid to just say your opinion, okay? They do care about how you express your opinion. It doesn't matter what the opinion is, okay? Just make sure you have the arguments for it. Of course, try to give extended responsive. So I told you, like 30 seconds, 1 minute, something like in writing, it would be something like 2-3 long sentences or 4 or 5 shorter sentences, yeah? And of course, you can use this trick here, yeah, to give yourself some time to think. You can say something like, I haven't really thought about this before, but, yeah, and meanwhile, you consider a little bit, okay? And how to prepare for this, for part 3? Well, you should think about more abstract issues this time, okay? For example, on the topic of school qualities of a good teacher, on the topic of qualification versus experience, which one weighs more, on the topic of face-to-face tuition versus online courses, and so on, yeah? Here, it might be helpful to read a lot, yeah? A lot of the English newspaper or articles, okay? From BBC, from whatever you want, okay? But they are official British articles, American, of course, as well, yeah? The only problem is here maybe spelling, but you can learn a lot of words there as well, okay? And of course, think of some language that can be useful to compare, to express your opinion. No, I believe that from my point of view, la la la, okay? Or to discuss about hypothetical situations, okay? If, the if clause, and so on. Okay, right. So that would be more or less our theory, our theoretical part, okay? Let's now go to the practical one, okay? So I hope this was pretty clear. And again, you should not, the most important thing is not to let yourself be overwhelmed by emotions, okay? So you should just imagine that you are speaking to a friend that is asking you your opinion on something, or asks you to tell them something that happened to you, and you are simply mentioning that. Of course, yes, with some higher vocabulary than you would more normally use with a friend. Let's say maybe then your boss asks you this, yeah? So it's not that informal, but not that formal also. As if you are with an evaluator, I mean. Okay, so again, 3 parts for the speaking. The first one, just short, easy questions on you, on your life. The second one, you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes on a given topic. And the last one, you are asked questions about more abstract issues. Okay, so the practical part, let me also share it with you, please. So in part 2, it's important to focus again on all of the points we are given. Okay, so I will ask Elena to please read the task in part 2 that you see on the screen.
All right. Describe a small and successful company you know. You should say the name of the company, how you learned about it, what kind of business this company does, and explain why you think this company is successful.
Okay, so far so good. We are it's clear what we have here. Now those watching us from Facebook can also see the connection between the title, yeah, so small and successful businesses, companies, and it's just a matter of describing a little bit. Okay, so I will now give you 1 minute to prepare it as in the exam, and then you can talk about it. Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay. Also, those at home, if you want to try, yeah, to take some notes on this, it may be helpful because you can see my screen, so you see everything here. Okay, so who would like to start?
Well, if Anna doesn't want to start now, I can.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can
you
go
can
ahead.
start, Elena, and Anna, you can go after that. Yeah.
I can.
Okay, good. So Elena, please, then let's start.
Sure. I'm going to talk about the company for which I work currently. It is called Pro Business Communication Services, and it's a Romanian company from Bucharest, which administrates different sites on the internet. I have come across this company this spring when one of the employees contacted me and asked me if I want to work for them since they have an open place. And the section I'm working for is in Finnish. I am working for a Finnish site where people post all kinds of products that they want to sell or they want to buy or they want to rent. And what I have to do is accept those advertisements or refuse them. And that is basically what the company does in general. I think that it is successful because although it is a small company that not many people have heard about, um, it has been on the market for, I think, more than 10 years. And in the Finnish area, they have been on the market for 7 years and still going. And it does a really important job for the Finnish society. Everybody wants to sell products or buy products.
Okay, thank you very much, Elena.
Thank
So
you.
I can give you my my feedback right now. Okay. So
Sure.
first of all, I can notice that you have a very good grammar. For example, you use correctly the present perfect in this case. Now it has been on the market for more than 10 years. This will be highly appreciated by the evaluators, like I pointed out earlier in the theoretical description of the speaking. And you have good fluency. There were no unnatural breaks, yeah, pauses. One thing you said that this company administrates, so this is not a wrong term. It exists, but it is just less common, less
Oh,
common
all right.
than to administer. Okay. Right. And another thing that I wanted to mention, but I did not get to write it here at the end, because at the end I normally get the whole picture of the speech, is that you used good vocabulary, but the vocabulary can be improved with, like I said, more, high, let's say, higher academical words. No, for example, instead of saying, I don't know, the company has, you can say the company is composed of, or these types of changes. Okay, this would be even more appreciated. But overall, it's really good.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you. Okay, and Anna, if you want to answer to the same topic, please.
I will try that. I don't have so many ideas, but yeah, I can try to. Today I'm going to talk about one of my friend company, which she opened 2 years ago. Is about delivery food in her local area. The company name is Delivery. I can't remember right now. I was trying to search, but I couldn't find it. And yeah, she started to open this business, how I said before, 2 years ago. Is about delivering food. She does get a lot of help from her family, and she does have success in what she's doing, because her business is going up. Her rate of customers are growing, so it's higher than before. So yeah, I don't have any more ideas.
Okay.
Sorry.
Have you ever seen her working for this company? Did she tell you how difficult it is managing it?
Yeah, she does. Yes. She does. She does work. She does doing a lot of work from morning till night. She works beside her workers. She's going as well to deliver food, and she does work on her own for her paperwork, incomes, outcomes, ordering stuff for her needs, and all this stuff. Her mother help her as well.
Helps her as well.
Yeah, as well. So
okay, thank you, Anna. That's okay. I'll now give you my feedback. So one of my friend company and the company name, you forgot the apostrophe S. Well, the S in speech only. Yeah, that refers to the possessive, no? One of my friends' company, the company's name. Okay. Also, you said delivery food. It's vice versa, food delivery. Yeah. We can well, about the fluency, we can improve your fluency. Why? Sometimes you repeated yourself like two, yeah, and your pauses are sometimes too long. Okay,
Okay.
if your pauses are too long, they are considered no longer natural pauses but unnatural ones, and unnatural ones will be penalized in the criteria named fluency. Yeah. About the academic terms, like Forel and I suggest using more of them, although I did appreciate some, for example, income, outcome. Okay.
Okay.
And why do we, this is a grammar element as well, why do we say her mother helps her and not help, like you said initially? Because it's the third person singular. Yes, her mother, which is a she, so she helps her. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. Let us continue. Now, I will now ask you some questions of part 3. I don't know if I mentioned, I think I skipped this, but the questions in part 3 are from the same topic that the cue card in part 2 was. Yeah. So if we had a small successful company, the questions in part 3 will be about business or businesses. Yeah. And I prepared here 4 questions for you, so 2 for each. Yeah, and we'll see how this goes. I remind you that you should answer for approximately 30 seconds, 1 minute to each. So 2, 3 long sentences or 4, 5 shorter ones. But the thing here is that you do not have any time to prepare. I mean, I can give you a few seconds, but you don't have a minute like in part 2. Okay, so let's try. Elena, what do you think about this question? What kind of businesses need the most help?
I haven't given this topic much thought, but now that I consider it, I think that the businesses that need the most help are those related to education and health. Although there might be private businesses that have this occupation, I think they still need some more help from the government as well, since they concern public interest that are the most important ones for each person. So we all need to be healthy and we all need to be educated. So it would be beneficial if those areas were developed more.
Okay. Right. So I do appreciate, Elena, that you use the stalling device that I told you about earlier, right? I haven't given this topic much thought, but yeah, this is very good. Also, you said it well, yeah, with the tenses and everything. The answer was good. I just suggest to avoid repetitions. For example, you said so, I think 2, 3 times. So to avoid that, you can replace it with, which means that, no, the longer phrase, or hence. Okay, so that we avoid using too much of so.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
And also informal a little bit.
Well, let's just say it's neutral. It's neutral. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Anna, the question for you is, do most people in your country work for small or large businesses?
Oh, well, in our country, the most people are doing a small bit, are working in a small businesses like packing, like fruit packing, sandwich packing, and something like a private jobs. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have ideas. This is the problem.
Okay, let's think of ideas. So you don't need to have ideas.
About
Ideas are
businesses.
just are just formed. Hear me out. You think about the issue, you know, in Romanian, in your mind, right? You think about it. So small or large businesses in my country. Okay, you answered that most of them work in small businesses. You didn't have more examples about for a small business. You said fruit packing and whatever. Okay, and then you try to argument your opinion. No? So even if the question is only about this, like I said, your answer cannot be just this, yeah. So you also need to say why, right? So we consider probably I consider that the reason why most individuals in Romania prefer working in small companies, here again we can use synonyms, business companies, firms, yeah, is because let's think, they can have a better relationship with their leader, with their boss. More, they can have a closer relationship, no, because there are less people in the company. Because maybe sometimes the salaries are higher in smaller companies than in larger ones, and right. So you just think of some ideas like this. You don't need to be all philosophical, or yeah, just think about it logically. Okay, small or large, I don't know, a relationship with the boss, salary, and that's it. Yeah. Okay, and also pay attention because you said the most people. We don't say the, we just say most people without the. Yeah.
Most people. Okay.
Okay, Elena, should the government help businesses or leave them alone?
I think that in most of the cases, government can leave businesses to perform on their own, but in other cases, they maybe should sponsor these businesses. As I have said earlier, businesses that concern health, education, maybe even tourism. So all kinds of businesses that concern the public in general, as a society that needs to develop constantly. Businesses that concern their consumers' well-being in general.
Very good, very high vocabulary. Okay, concern, consumers, well-being, very good. Yeah, very good vocabulary. Just one tiny grammar mistake. You said government can. You have two options. Either you say the government because it's an authority, no, an institution, or you say sorry, I wrote wrong. So either you say the government or you say governments without the.
In general.
But you put the plural. Yeah, exactly. Okay, but just government can. We can't leave government like this. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Anna, let's try with the last one. So how important is regulation of large businesses? Regulation means law, no? Having laws for large businesses.
Oh, well, it's important, the regulation in a large businesses, because the employers can follow the right rules which the company they are putting in place. So due to the rules, each employer can follow easily the rules if the regulation is in place, and maybe it's much easier for. Okay.
No, continue. It's much easier for.
That's okay. That's enough.
No, I was just about to say that I can notice that you do have the vocabulary, for example, put in place, right? But as you said, I think the ideas, no?
I don't have any ideas about business and all this stuff, so maybe I just feel that I'm stuck in somewhere. And
unfortunately, though, the topic that we will have in the IELTS is not. I mean, it can be it's completely random, so it can be anything, right? So we need to have some ideas, even for those topics that we don't like or we don't, know much of. Yeah. So in time, again, maybe here it can help also reading some articles and anything in English, because we get vocabulary there and we get ideas. No, you can steal someone's idea. No, for example, now let's say you read one time about a law in large businesses that they cannot have people working for more than 8 hours in a row. I don't know. I'm just saying, yeah. So something like that. Okay, or you invent something like this, or you say, for example, regulating this, and you give your idea, your own invention of a regulation might help with. Okay. So it's there's no rule. There are no rules in how to answer this question correctly. Of course, you just give your opinion, yes, but also, for example, here, know how important is. Why not give an example? I mean, examples are always welcome in the speaking and in the IELTS in general, in the essay as well. Okay, just pay attention to the following grammar mistakes, Anna. So you said a large businesses. So either a large businesses, the plural, or a large business, the singular. We can't have both.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
And another one, you started like this. It's important, something regulation for, no. So we need to start with, you need to say something like, it is important for businesses to be regulated, yeah, or you start the classical way, subject, verb, object, which is the order of words in English, the correct order. Okay, so you say regulation is important for large businesses. Okay, regulation is your subject, is important is your verb, and for large businesses represents extra information at the end. Okay, but unfortunately we don't have the same freedom as in Romanian to say e important că nu știu ce, it's important, yeah, regulation for businesses. No. Yeah, we need to start with the subject. Regulation is important for businesses. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You are very welcome. Okay, so, well, that would be it for today. That was what I prepared for us, and I hope it really helped you, also in the theoretical part, but in the practical as well. I hope that you are able to integrate my feedback into your further speaking trials and sessions, okay? Thank you very much for being here with me. We'll see each other soon in another free session of the Academy. And those at home also, I hope you watched and that this was helpful for everyone. So thank you again. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.